Now, looking on at the Kenyan markets, we got the Kenyan market today. The NAC closing up in the black. The last time I checked, 0.5%, indeed 0.5% up, and we've got volumes up with some of the movers, including East African breweries, which helped move up the volumes on the day. When you look at the currency front, we've got the Kenyan shilling against the US dollar, stronger on the day. That's just 0.33%. Now, joining us from our studios in Nairobi to give us an update on what's happening there is Brenda Kithinji, research analyst at Standard Investment Bank. Brenda, thanks very much indeed for your time. I'm seeing volumes are improving and we've got the market up in the black, and we've got a few weeks to go before the elections. And yet last year, everybody was saying we're seeing a drop in volumes because investors are concerned about the outcome of the elections, the potential that there might be violence. Has there been a sea change here?
There has been a field change. I mean, what we need to note is that apparently elections are coinciding with earnings season. You know, a lot of banks are releasing their earnings starting from tomorrow all the way through the end of this month. So investors are trying to take positions ahead of earnings season. And also, just to note that now investors are more confident that issues on post-election violence will not arise. And I think that's what we are seeing going forward. And that's why you're not seeing investors moving away from the market, but they're confident that there will be no violence and there will be a continuance in the market in terms of trading.
How long do you think this optimism is going to last? I saw remarks on the debate last night, which was a first for Africa, by the way. I think it's thoroughly fantastic that we're able to get our politicians up from their offices to talk to the nation, if you like. What kind of a difference do you think, though, that the discussions we're seeing around everybody trying to suggest that this is going to be a normal is likely to have, and how long is it likely to last?
I honestly think that we will not see much profit taking in the market. We will not see a big dip in the market because fundamentals of these companies that are listed in the market still support those prices. We're trading at PE values of around 12%. If you compare this with 2010 when we were trading at 14%, I would say we could even see prices continue to rise. On the debate, yes, it was a good thing. It was a great thing for the African nation, for the African continent, I mean. And I think the one thing that we took away from the debate is that each and every presidential candidate noted that they will not take to the streets if they do not win the elections. They all said that they will agree to whatever Kenyans decide, and if they have any problems, they will try and take this redress to the courts. So I think this just gives investors more confidence to know that it'll be business as usual, even right after elections.
Absolutely, a very important signal I think they were sending out there, that they actually sit around the table and discuss these issues civilly without that degenerating into violence. Let's talk about the market today. So East African breweries boosting up the turnover today to 983 million shillings on 41 million shares. What's happening there?
East African Breweries is set to release their first half 13 earnings on Friday. And I think it's just excitement around those figures that are yet to come on Friday. But I guess for me, it's important to note that we don't expect very positive, or we expect disappointing results for East African breweries. Diageo, I think 2 weeks back, expressed that volumes in Kenya and Uganda had fallen, and this accounts for about 90% of East African breweries' volumes. So, I mean, that just points towards that East African breweries will suffer a bit in the first half. In addition to this, last year we saw East African brewery borrow a lot to buy Kenya breweries, and in addition to that, also to finance their capex plans. So they're going to suffer from high finance costs during the first half of 2013. And therefore, I think post announcing the results on Friday, we might see that stock dip a bit. We might see some profit taking on the stock. Yeah,
let's talk about some of the gainers today. ACCS up 8.6%. I mean, that's quite a big jump. And then you also have Williamson Tea Kenya, and that was also up 4.5%. Are there any stories there, or is this just maybe exuberance that perhaps we'll not see people torching the tea fields because, you know, these guys are able to talk to each other?
This was just mainly on thin volumes. If you look at the volumes traded on those counters, they are very light volumes, so it's very hard to infer what the people who are buying in those counters were thinking, but they're on very thin volumes, so it's not easy to make an inference. But generally, the market had a positive sentiment, with most of the counters traded gaining. I mean, we also saw Kenya KCB touch a new high of around 38.5 shillings today. So positive sentiment around most of the stocks listed.
Indeed, Brenda Kithinji, research analyst at Standard Investment Bank, thank you for your time.